What's up, guys? Welcome to the first update video after my first week of studying for the DAT. Overall, I've been enjoying the process, and in case you guys missed the first video of my DAT series, I'm using DAT Bootcamp as my primary resource, and so far it's been awesome. They only give you the info that you need to know for the exam, and they deliver it in a very intuitive manner. We here at FutureDDS also have a promo code for you guys to use when purchasing your own DAT Bootcamp program, and you can find that right here. So I've been studying around 4 to 5 hours a day like I had planned, and I'm really happy with that amount. After that, I can just see that I become really lethargic and disinterested. So as I said in the last video that I made, I'm using RE's schedule, and for the first week, I've studied 5 out of 13 general chemistry chapters, 3 out of 23 chapters of the Biology Academy, and I did the keyholes and top front end chapters for the PAT. And finally, I did 1 out of the 3 chapters for the reading comprehension. So general chemistry has been straightforward, as I've been told based on advice from people who have already taken the exam. And you just need to complete a series of videos and question banks, and the amount of time it takes ranges from 40 minutes to 2 hours, just depending on what chapter it is. Now for bio, I am so thankful that I already studied the bio portion beforehand, because it seems like a ton of info to memorize at such a fast pace. I've been mainly utilizing the flashcards and BioBytes just to refresh my memory of the topics. And I spend around 45 minutes a day, whereas I'm pretty sure that people have to spend a couple hours per day, learning all of that information. And next up, we have the PAT portion, which has probably been the most frustrating topic for me. I come out of that exhausted every time. I've been doing about 30 questions in the PAT generators that DAT Bootcamp has for all of them, except for keyholes, where I only do 15 since they're in a limited question bank. And I would say I spend around an hour to an hour and a half per day on that. And then finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the reading comprehension section, which seems to be a combination of both straightforward and ambiguous questions. I think the reason they want you to, read a scientific article every day is just to get used to the wording style so you can flow through the passages a little bit easier. I would just encourage people to practice reading anything that uses a high-level vocabulary, just so you can practice, reading quickly and analytically. And after going through the first chapter of the reading comprehension, I've realized how important it is to thoroughly read the questions and to be able to dissect every word, since one word can make all the difference. And I noticed that through a few mistakes I made on their quizzes. So I wanted to quantify my progress so far so that I can set goals for myself to meet on a weekly basis. The only thing I can quantify so far, though, is the practice tests that I did and the scores on my PAT generators. So I'll start with the practice tests. For a quick disclaimer, I took these a couple months back just to see where I was at and what topics I needed to work on. The first test in every section is free on DAT Bootcamp as well. So in case you guys want to give them a test drive before purchasing the program, I would highly recommend you guys just check that out. So my scores were the following. I had a 20 in biology, 22 in general chemistry, 23 in organic chemistry, 23 in reading comprehension, a 24 in quantitative reasoning, and an 18 PAT. So obviously what stood out most was that, the PAT was my weakest link, and it was something that I was going to need to practice a lot. Second, I knew that biology was going to be a really hard topic, and it just revealed how broad it is and that I need to make sure that I understand every small detail. And so with those scores being said, I'm really excited to see how my scores will change throughout this period. I've heard that scores don't generally increase in a linear fashion and that they fluctuate instead. And I've also heard that the second half of the practice tests, which is I think from 6 to 10, are harder than the first half. So that just motivates me a little bit more to study harder and learn every single thing that's taught, just so I can improve in every section. So those were my practice tests, and I'll talk a little bit about my average scores on the PAT generators. So, like I said, I did about 30 questions a day, and the following scores will be an average out of 30. So on angle ranking, I got 24. Hole punching, I got 27. Cube counting, I got 27. Pattern folding, I got 28. And top front end, I got 28.5. These scores are mostly without the timer that DAT Bootcamp provides. So I presume they'll be a little lower once I start implementing that timer. But for now, I just want to get used to the way that the PAT is, and then I'll start using the timer, I think, sometime next week. So if you guys haven't noticed yet, I'm trying to make the DAT feel like a game to me. I like to think that anyone who does something that feels like play instead of work will typically perform better, and that's just based off my own experience. So I'm working really hard to beat my own scores and just compete with myself. And I think a lot of us come into this exam with like a set score in mind that will be sufficient, and that just changes our whole mentality when approaching the test, since I feel like we'll become a little bit less motivated to achieve what's only a satisfactory score. So that was the first update video. If you guys haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new update videos. And if you have any questions for us at FutureDDS, you can always DM us on Instagram @_FutureDDS, and we'll try to reply as soon as possible. And we'll see you all at the next update video.